You know, it's important for anyone who moved to a first world country or to another country to assimilate and integrate and value what's been given in this home ground soil. It is important. Now, why many claiming, whether they're saying right wing or not, saying that many refugees or migrants are not integrating? For me to see that, and I'm responding this question to Aussie Matters, Rod. Sorry for not replying your message for a long time because 2-3 days, because I work night shifts in aged care and I can't be bothered actually typing, to be honest with you. I'm dyslexic, so yeah. Even though I can write, but I just can't be bothered writing, to be honest. I may as well just make a video, and I hope you enjoy. I did respond to 2 of your comments as well when I make the video. So to my viewers, I think it's very important to integrate, assimilate, and value. And also you bring your own culture, your own tradition and value. But the one works the most is obviously the one that you stayed in, right? And the integrating part is very important. You know, you have to understand the language, you need to understand how the society, the government, the laws, and obey everything. You cannot just bring your own stuff and, you know, just bring it in. And I know the media or in anything. And by the way, Aussie Matters, if you're wondering who I actually voted for this election, I actually voted for One Nation, to be honest. Don't get triggered if you are, because I actually really supported, you know, based on my social work studies, I actually see the values of Pauline Hanson, what she actually creates. I know, you know, it's not the favorite party for Chinese to ever vote or Asian, but I just let you know. I actually really like Mark Nathan. I really do. And I've seen his videos regards to Sydney, and especially the video that he did in Fairfield. You know, Fairfield. Oh, wow. You know, this guy, he goes to Fairfield and he tried to interview random street people right in front of Centrelink and see if they could speak English. And none of them speaks English. And this is worrying because many migrants or refugees or same kind will usually move into the same place. Now, Rod, I used to live in Sydney. I moved to Melbourne only 2015. Most of my life I live in Sydney. Now, if you're wondering where I was living in Sydney, I live in the areas that you wouldn't dare even want to go to. Now, I brought up in North Auburn, and I go to high school in Parramatta, and my last one is probably stayed in Bankstown. And these are the suburbs that I'm pretty sure raising a lot of alarms. I went to a high school that shot killed the police. Arthur Phillip High School. I'm pretty sure you heard about that news 5-6 years ago. Yeah, that's how bad my school was. And yeah, that's a bit about myself. I just let you know. You know, I went to school. It was highly dominant with Middle Eastern, and you know, there's whites were like, well, how, let's just say Caucasian. Sorry, I can't say white. Caucasian was very rare in my school and in my area as well. Even Sydney CBD is not really city. You see, you know, after you go to Martin Place, it's all business district or banking district or IT district. It was more of the whites, Caucasian. But once you go to Central Town Hall, there's a whole different world. It's just more, you know, Central is just more Chinese. And I felt sorry for George Street at the moment because of you guys are sort of like building a Trump Great Wall going on, building the light rail. Bloody hell, how long it's been taking? Ever since I moved here, you guys still haven't finished building it. So that's one of them. Okay, so assimilating is very important. I realize there's one view going on. Is the fact that if you don't assimilate it, if you not agree the ideas, you influence the idea. Now, this could be different cultures will change it. And whether you change for good thing or bad thing, that's up to the society thinks what's great or what's good or what's fit in the society. Now, for replying for this message that you send, you're 5th generation white Irish-Pommie. Now, according to my formal landlord, has been telling me the Irish were getting bashed so much when they arrived in Australia, and they never liked the Irish. The Pommies never liked the Irish, and Irish was like pretty much the nowadays. Pretty much, you could say the Africans or the the Islamic people. They got bashed so hard. Then after that, then you got the Italians, then you got the Greeks, then you got the Viets, then you got the Chinese, then all the way now we've got the Africans and the Muslims right now. And you know, you are shocked driving around Sydney. Of course, you're shocked. I know the areas that I live in. You'd be surprised how well educated I know this sort of areas. I'm pretty sure you watch 2 of the videos and you understand how it is. I mean, it's important to understand, because if you don't understand about it, then ever since I moved to Melbourne, it changed me. When I was living in Sydney, I was just a sheep like everyone else. Just like I grew up in a school that kills the police. Come on, man, you can't get any worse than that. But no matter where I go, whether I go Campsie, whether I go Hornsby, whether I go Parramatta, whether I go Blacktown, whether I go Bankstown, whether I go Liverpool, whether I go Hurstville, whether I go Sydney or Bondi, I see a huge dynamic. There's a huge dynamic range, and I get to see. Unfortunately, I get to see a lot more dominance of the Chinese community everywhere, snatching properties they've left, right, and centre, and shops, and Epping, Eastwood, and North Ryde, you name it. I know all these suburbs. I pretty much just don't like. When I stayed in Melbourne, I feel like it's a whole different place. It's a lot more Caucasian here. I stimulated. I understand a lot. I understand to the point that, I'm not a second-class citizen. When I was in Sydney, I feel like a second-class citizen, to be honest. You can't even look to the people in the eyes, let's put it that way. If you don't like the person sitting right in front of you, you flip the chair. Oh, sorry, you flip the seat. I'm referring to Sydney trains. You don't get to do that in Metro, that we'll call it in Melbourne. We don't get to do that. So, yeah, my missus, I just recently dated her. She doesn't really support me at all, what the videos that I make. And she thinks I'm selfish, she thinks I'm idiot, for making this sort of stuff. But you know what, she just newly arrived in Australia for 5, 6, 7 years, and I'm glad she's not lefty. I'm glad she's still very conservative, but that's all that matters. I don't really care. But yeah, what time did she say? The most important, you have to assimilate. If you don't assimilate, then there's a lot of politicians will brought up so much. Nowadays, it's very sensitive to even name dropping which certain culture or country or nationality. Nowadays, you get political correctness. You get told off. Back in the days, you can talk. You talk shit about the Viets, the Chinese, the Italians, the Greeks, the Lebanese, the Albanians. Nowadays, you can't even talk shit to anyone, to be honest. Everything is so sensitive, it's so hidden, and everything like that. Now, first things first, I really felt sorry for Caucasian, especially Ron. You're part of it. Not trying to be discriminating or racist with how whites are being suppressed and try to push to be marginalized. Because when I was studying social work, we punished the whites for doing everything, the match patriarchal. And I'm saying back of my head, I'm like, hang on. Yes, it's white patriarchy. Yes, this is white country. Yes, they built this country. Yes, they open their arms. They let everyone in this country. And how dare you talk bad about white? And unfortunately, we live in a society in today's world. A lot of supervisors, managers, and director roles has been replaced by diversity and 50-50 ratio of gender quotas, or perhaps 100% domination with women, which is nowadays. And I understand there's not many people are like me to think this way. And the thing is that I'll get to that question. The thing is that, oh gosh, I already lost it. The thing is that, okay, I'll answer your question. Semi shouldn't mean losing your, okay. Of course, you shouldn't lose your identity and your culture. Of course, you cannot lose. But whether if you're first generation and you're coming to a foreign country, you have two values. You have one that's coming from your family, one is coming from your peers or this new land, so called your new home. And there's no right or no wrong. But the thing is that you have to understand and learn this home soil country. The laws are different, the language is different, the tradition, the values, you have to learn. You keep both of them and you integrate into society. Do you accept both of them? You cannot just bring, for example, right? And I know when I was young, a lot of people say, you Chinese, you eat dogs. Or Australian, they always say cat dim sims. You can't just eat cats. Like when Chinese came to Australia, there's meats are so expensive, so they catch cats, so they make dim sims. Right? There's certain ways and laws to going to the way how it is, and obviously there is a boundary. Nowadays, boundary has been shifted, has changed, has been modified, especially in Australia. Right? And now we have to accept it. Now, Aussie matter, right? I used to work in emergency relief, and I get to see the ones that rotting the system. And don't get me wrong, and I'm surprised they have iPads and iPhones, and I still have BlackBerry, and I was still using it on that day. All right, and I'm surprised, and they're not stimulating; they're just milking the industry and everything. But you know what? Mandarin, it would be easier. It's true. But there's no right or wrong, Clara. And what I'm trying to say on this video is it's important to assimilate, integrate, learn the culture. Don't bring your own culture stuff and try to rot the system or this and that, because the foreign country opened their arms out wide and say, welcome, come to this country. Welcome, chase your dream. Welcome, bring your whole family. But don't just come in and not stimulating and not paying taxes, tax avoidance, and you cripple the society, right? Like, I understand migrants come to Australia or foreign country to work so hard, and they send money back to their home, and they send money back home to support their family. Fair enough, nothing wrong with that, but don't just bring some of the values that things normalize in your culture and bring it here. Because if you bring it here and you change everything and everyone's disagreeing, sooner or later, right? Sooner or later, laws, we live in a very, very interesting era in life that everything is open. You can have abortion, you can go Tinder, you can have sex as much as you want. Nobody stoned to you to death. Nobody says you shall go to hell. Back then you get stoned. You get shamed, you get stigmatized. Now we live in a society, you accept everyone, and you should respect this country, what it's providing, giving, and give back to the community. And when back to the Aussie matters, many Chinese people, or FOB, if you like to call it, or import, if you like to call that, many of them will not integrate because we're in this bubble, and because we believe in this bubble, and unfortunately it has influenced Australia in many ways into very, very rat race now. And you from Sydney, and definitely it's been turned to a very rat race. And now many alternative parties and right-wing parties in Europe has grown significantly because they are fed up. For one prime example, Brexit. Yellow vest movement is like just stating, the tax, the cost of living is just skyrocketed. Why? Because they need to generate high tax, because quarter of Australian taxes goes towards social welfare. Now, whatever the money goes to, God knows where it goes. I don't want to know about that, but quarter. They have to reduce the social welfare, because if they don't reduce the social welfare, this is going to be blow up. It's just going to keep increasing all the time. If it's not, if it's going to keep increasing all the time, then the government, it cannot sustain the country. But guess what? Australians in the foreign countries like to do international foreign aid. So buying alliance, buying trust, buying friendship. They already lost the game because China literally, fortunately, has bribed all of them out, pretty much, if I had to put it in a good sense. And nowadays, the foreign aid is useless because it's money controlled. But yeah, many Chinese people would not speak up, and I'm glad that you say I'm one of the people who stand up and give you hope, that saying that I'm not the rest of the Chinese think that way. Many of my Chinese people, they're all the same. All of them, they all think the same. They do not dare to speak up or think differently. And because I'm different, because I'm a misfit. I'm not like the rest. They got at maths, they got A's, they go to Jane Bruce, you got Homebush boys or Sydney Tech boys, and all these schools. I don't go to there. I go to dropout. I'm a high school dropout, but I don't come here and rot the system. I come here and value. Even I get Centrelink or welfare, I value. Even though I pay taxes right now, even though it sounds painful, but I value what this country has given me, because they paid me to go to study. They pay me to move out and go to study. They pay me to give me opportunity. They pay me to chase Australia dream. They pay me to give me second chance. They pay me to do things. But if many people are doing the same thing, you'll bankrupt the whole system, because it is a short term. But so I hope you understand. Clara, any final message? Or have I touched on any base? If there any message that you'd like me to answer, to talk about, I don't know. I'm still waiting, or no, or should I wait 5 more seconds or 10 more seconds? Clara is not responding. All right, Clara G. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming to my video. You're replying just that. Okay, I'm waiting. Just that. How come it's replying just that? Oh, yeah. I'll let Clara just type whatever he needs to. I'm just gonna do one final address that if folks are like me, my nerve settles. It is true. Many people don't read and learn. I'm glad that social work made me open my eyes and see the dark and the great side of the society. And yeah, I left the course because it was just too much social justice. It wasn't. What I say is no one's right should suppress others. Okay, okay, that's good. I think okay. Yep. Okay, I think I've answered that that question. No one's right. Yep, of course, no one has the rights to do that. But now we're living in a society, things will be changed very soon. One of the rights will dominate the other one. And unfortunately, living especially in the Judo-Christian countries, which is Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Britain, UK, you name all these countries, these values has been corrupted, has changed, right? Now, Israel Folau, I don't know, Clara, I don't know where you're from, but this rugby player, he stated a Bible quote, they shall go to hell, these type of group. And one of the groups were homosexual. And that post got him sacked on his contract. He's a rugby player. He has a 4-year contract. It got him sacked straight away. And now this is going to be a very, very political correctness now. Because even though we cannot talk bad about LGBT or anything like that, but you have to remember Australia was built by Christian and Judo values. And now, before, it was getting stoned or death to be LGBT back then. Later on, it transitioned to mental health. And later on, now we're accepting it. And now it is, yes, they're shutting down Christian rights. Now, there's more, the Christian rights is down. Now, when you take down Christian rights, other values is going to be dominant, right? Now, as I previously studied social work, we have to advocate, empower the marginalized group, the minority. Now, this is going to be very interesting, whether Islamic laws is going to be introduced, or it could be Chinese will be introduced, or it could be someone else. Now, this is going to be influenced. This is going to be shattered everywhere because the feminist ideology. Oh gosh, Clara, I think you're feminist. Oh gosh, and that's a girl. Okay, sorry. I support the second wave, not the third and fourth. Okay, just to let you know, is to abolish the white patriarchal structure. Now, the first thing what they do is to get rid of the politicians, the religious groups, and if they do that, they have more power because Christian, or like I say, religion group is less power than ever before now. You know, before they have so much power, they run the whole country. Now, oh, thank you. I'm not okay. Thank you. I hope there's no flex around here. I'm scared, man. I'm glad you're not. You know, gosh, what was it? And, you know, when you start to abolish the top of hierarchy, that's what they keep claiming when my studies are through all these feminist studies, and how they wanted to abolish the structure. And the one of them they wanted to abolish is the Pommies, whatever the Irish, whatever the Caucasian up there. They wanted to mix diversity and as well gender quotas 50-50, racial. Was it Finland or Sweden? The whole parliamentary is all women. That is the goal, to having all that running at the same time. Now, I can't be sexist. I cannot say anything at work. At work, man, I'm in HK. You're dominated by female, and what's coming out of their mouth is 10 times worse than, you know, what's coming out of a guy's mouth. But you know what? I have to keep my mouth shut. I have to stay quiet and act like nothing has happened. Absolutely. And when you have that, it breaks a lot of stuff going on. And if I said one word wrong, or accidentally said one word that offends someone, I get a warning or get my job sacked. And that's why I said to Clara and Aussie Matters, it's very interesting now where we're heading to, because we're heading to the stage that words is crime. A joke is a crime. And it is scary. It is scary. It is true. Oh, Clara, I just realized you commented on one of my videos, normalized cashless in Australia. China. Okay, Clara, if you don't mind and stay on this channel, I'm gonna do another live and I'll respond to that that comment that you did. I'll definitely, on the normalized cashless, I'll definitely respond to it. I'll make a video right now. I'll do a live one. Okay, I'll edit now. Okay, latest in religious freedom discrimination. I know in Canada with street pressure. I know Canada is way ahead of with Australia at the moment. You guys are way more ahead. I think Australia is just the beginning of the phase of it. But I'll go back and I'll make this video. Okay, Clara? Okay.